Hey guys, this is Seth from Comingouttarot. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I'm just here to chat a little bit about how online tarot readings are serving the queer community and why they're so popular. So there's been this growth in online tarot readings, and it's something that, I don't know, I got on the bandwagon several years ago, more like 5 to 7 years ago, and more we're seeing online tarot readings happen. Started a little bit with email, then it moved into live streaming as we started to get more live streaming apps accessible to the masses like Periscope, Facebook Live, YouTube. And I'm not surprised that it's been something that is important to the queer community because, in general, tarot's always been important to marginalized communities. And when we think about the queer community, I think we've sought answers for ourselves because there hasn't really been anyone for us to go to. There's more and more mentors in the LGBTQ space for a couple reasons. One, more and more people are coming out. They're coming out younger. It's become more of a mainstream thing to say you're queer versus an underground thing, scary, life-threatening thing for many people, at least in the United States and other Western countries. So there is this acceptance of queer culture where before there wasn't, but still, I think there's a lot of places in the US, and I think there are still many of us who feel like we didn't have someone to reach out to better understand what it meant to be a part of the queer community. And so getting advice from an unexpected source or an unconventional path isn't unusual for those who are a part of the queer community. So that's why I think you might be interested in online tarot reading. So what is it? Why is it happening now? I think the need for answers right now is unprecedented. We're in a world that it seems like everyone is on one spectrum or another. We're polarized politically, and we're experiencing people that we love support politicians that hate us, want to see us disappear, want to see us even further marginalized than we are today. And how does it feel? What do you want to do when you're running into that space of someone saying, I want to make America great again? And hey, Paloma, and how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel for the other people you know? And not just for the cisgendered white male queer community, but if we're looking at subcultures of the queer community, or I shouldn't say, subcultures of the queer community, when we're talking about the Black queer community, the Latino queer community, the Asian queer community, we're talking about people who are having experiences that can be, I think, further expressed, understood, and delved into through tarot. So I think it's important to understand that we might lose ourselves in a whirlwind of what's important, and tarot can bring us back to ourselves. And if that's important to you, then go ahead and like this. Let me know that it's interesting to you, and I'm going to keep going. I think it makes a lot of sense that the queer community is interested in online tarot reading because LGBTQ folks have always been early adopters of technology. It's one of those things that has been documented, over documented, which is why marketers and large companies like Apple, Google, Android keep advertising to the gay community. In fact, I even found this article by the Gay Ad Network. I thought it was interesting, where they talk about how LGBTQ adults 18 to 24 have come out online using their phone in some way. And we see that happening a lot today. We're seeing it happening live on YouTube. We see kids coming out live on YouTube to their parents, or they may be uploading their coming out story. So making our queer lives a part of online culture is not unusual. And then to add tarot reading to that, I think it just makes sense. It's a natural thing to have this queer community be a part of the tarot community because of all those things that I mentioned before, plus the tech side of things. So what's the reason? Why do these things intersect? I think there are three easy reasons to connect to. One is location, one is schedule, and one is privacy. So related to location, depending on where you live, it may not be easy to find a tarot reader. There just may not be one near you. I mean, where I grew up, I was surrounded by forests and cow fields. No one's going to whip out a tarot deck out there. Now, there were a bunch of former hippies that were in the area, surrounded by all the loggers and older people and the conservatism, but they weren't whipping out tarot decks, and I wasn't learning about tarot decks from them either. So it just may not be easy based on your location to find a tarot reader. I mean, I got my first tarot deck in 1985 from a cousin in California who lived just outside of LA. So they were in a space that was more densely populated than me and had access to that type of thing, and I didn't. The internet didn't even exist at the time, so Amazon wasn't around. You couldn't just order. So you had to find these things, and it was a present. So now, if you're able to get online, I think you can find a tarot reader near you. You can even find tarot readers in other freaking countries, right? I talk to people from other countries as a tarot reader and do readings for them. So being online allows more tarot readers to come out of that tarot closet, and they're easier to find than ever. And maybe, just maybe, the tarot reader that's close to you isn't a great fit for you. So if you actually find one near you, maybe they're not the best tarot reader for you. So because of online, you can find tarot readers with different personalities, skills, abilities. I have got some blog posts about how to find the best tarot reader for you, where you can assess some of those things. You just may need to find that best tarot reader that is for you. So let's talk about schedule. I think that being online and getting a reading online, whether it be email or live online like this, I think gives you the ability to deal with things like having that crazy busy life where you're running from one place to another, because the tarot reading online saves you time. If you're doing the email reading, you can do it on your time. You schedule the reading with the reader, they write up the reading, they send it to you, and you can read it when you have time. Or you can schedule in advance an online time to sit down with a tarot reader face to face. So it is kind of like a Skype or a FaceTime. You are face to face, you just may not be in person, but it's time you schedule. And I know from my own experience and from a lot of the people that I know in the queer community, you may have, hey Nicolina, you may have two-legged children, four-legged children, husband, partner, boyfriend, whatever, and a social calendar. And to add that on top of that, you have a work day. So it may be hard to fit in a tarot reading, but online you can schedule one. Sure, you can ask a question. So if you get an online tarot reading, it gives you some time alone. It gives you time to focus on yourself, to reflect on where you've been, where you are, where you're headed. And if you're reading with me, you're probably going to get a kick in the ass to make sure you're achieving your goals, because that's just the way that I like to work. I like to make sure that we're moving you forward in a way that's going to help you achieve your goals today, tomorrow, whenever that future state is, because that's my favorite way to use tarot. Some people love to be in a predictive space and say, hey, this is coming your way. I love to be in you got shit to do, and I know you want to get there. Let's talk about how to make that happen, and here's some of the outcomes that could occur as a result of that, so that you can change your trajectory in case that you'd like to shift or alter the way that you're headed in that direction. So then those are the first two. So the third one is privacy. So your privacy, I think it's more and more important today than ever, right? Where our personal data is in danger of being stolen. All of our locations are geotagged. If you're out, you're constantly in new situations where you may be asked to come out if it's safe. And if you're not out, then you're probably in fear of just being discovered. of being found out. So how does a tarot reading online protect your privacy? Because it feels like those two things don't go together, right? I think having a tarot reading online gives you control of your privacy. You control if your location is geotagged. You control if your phone history is saved. Then you're in control of the situation of who you're sitting across from by choosing the best tarot reader from you, and you can make the assessment of whether or not it's safe to come out to that tarot reader so that you can have the best reading possible. Question from Nicolina. I am a Sagittarius sun. Is it true that my surrounding people at my work don't like me? How do people see my appearance? Thank you in advance. Nicolina, if you're looking for a tarot reading, I'm not doing that right now. I'm actually talking about how tarot readings are prevalent and important to the queer community, and they're serving quality to the queer community. So that's if you have a question about that, I'm happy to answer it. But if you're looking for a reading, you can check out Comingouttarot.com and go to the shop and order one over there. If you're just asking about how Sagittariuses are viewed, that's more personality, I think, than just Sagittarians in general. So I do get some other questions about what should I do if I decide I want a tarot reading, especially if I'm in the queer community. What's the best way for me to go about it? How do I find the best person so that I feel comfortable, safe, heard, the pronouns I want to use are being used, all of the things that make us feel like we're in the right space with the right person. So first, should I get an app or should I go to a real person? I would highly discourage you from getting an app. Why? The apps are going to give you generic card meanings per card. If you're looking to use an app, I would hope that you're already a tarot reader so you can read in between the lines and ignore all of those generic meanings. I don't think an app is going to serve you like a person would. So an app is like expecting a Gordon Ramsay style dinner and actually getting like a Denny's Grand Slam as a comparison. And don't tell me you haven't been to Denny's. I know you've been there. Don't get all bougie and say you've been to an IHOP. It's the same freaking thing if you're comparing it to Gordon Ramsay. All right. Now, going to a real person, whether it's online or face-to-face, is ideal because the reader's going to go further than those pre-recorded general interpretation messages. So we look at a holistic view of the cards. We're reading from experience. We'll read in between the cards, and we're kind of finding that gray space with the interplays between those cards, just like real life. So you get to make the choice about should you get an app or go to a person, but I would recommend going to a person. The next question I usually run into is, how do I get a free one? How do I get that free reading? Well, this is another choice. This is up to you. You get what you pay for. However, there are some readers out there who are great, who give away their readings for free. And they're not utilizing their services as a business. I do tarot readings as a business. So if you're coming to me, there's going to be a financial exchange involved. So how do you get a free one? Well, there's a lot of different ways. You can go to an app, which was the first option, and get a reading that way and just use an app. But like I said, it's going to be pretty disjointed. So you get your Denny's reading, basically. You can search live streaming apps like YouTube, Periscope, Live.me. Hey, how you doing, Phantom? And if you search tarot or free tarot, there's going to be a lot of people that show up that are either learning or giving away their services for free. More than likely, it's people who are learning. You can search Twitter or Facebook for the same keywords, though Twitter you'll get a lot more of people who are learning and they're looking to practice on you. So that's a way you can get a free online tarot reading. So how do you get the best free online tarot reading? Two things. One, have a clear question you want answered. I've got a blog post out there too about how to think through what a good question is and put that in front of a tarot reader. Two, watch the reader for a bit when they're live, like me, like you're watching me. Watch us And if we're doing readings for people, for other people, see what that reading's like. See what the style's like. See if you like the sound of their voice. See if you like the way that they give their advice. See if you like the way they're interpreting cards. See if you like the way that other people are responding to them, because you may get a sense about how they best serve other people and how other people who have come to them before are interacting with them so that they can get the most out of that reader. So that's a way that you can get the best free online tarot reading when you found online tarot readings for free. So how in general can you get an online tarot reading? For me, you can go to comingouttarot.com/shop and you can find my readings are available over there. Or you can find me on Periscope at 6 p.m. on Fridays, and some other times if you're following me, I'll jump on and I do all my readings via donation on Periscope because it's just suited better to short readings. And I'll do a donation option. You get a couple cards and we do a tight short reading. And then if you want a longer run, then we can schedule that later. You can also search YouTube live streaming apps for things like Tarot Reading Chicago or whatever city that you're in, or Gay Tarot Reading, or just Tarot Reading. And you'll find people who are doing readings via donation, or they may have a set fee that they're charging in order to get the reading online. How do you find them on other social media channels? Same way, you search get a tarot reading or want a tarot reading. And then you're just going to have to find out if that reader is reading for the queer community, if they're reading for other people at large, if they're reading for cis, heteronormative women, which is a pretty standard base. So you'll get that feel if you stalk them a little bit, if you check out their social media, if you find their website, if they're gay friendly or not. And then how do you get the best online tarot reading? All the stuff I said about the free thing first, and then decide what you're investing in. You're investing in yourself. And what is it about yourself that you're investing in? So get real tight and clear on that question and determine what's worth it for you. Like, do you want to invest in yourself financially? A lot of times, people are thinking about that when they're considering professional advancement. They'll invest in some conferences, they'll invest in some conversations, they'll invest in professional organizations. But if you're talking about investing in yourself personally and how you can create a better you, whether it be professional or whether it be your romantic relationships, whether it be your professional relationships, whether it be your passion, your destiny, the things that you would like to get more insight on, more clarity on, and how you can create a better version of yourself, then decide what that is worth to you. Some tarot readers will barter. Some tarot readers like me aren't bartering. We have specific fees that we charge in order to help you do that. And we've got programs and packages and base programs that you can add things to. So check out the tarot reader. Find out what you're looking for, what you need, and how you can get there, and see if that tarot reader meets those needs. If they don't, reach out to them, especially if you think you like them and they're the one and your gut's telling you that's the reader I need to work with. Send them some questions. Follow up with them. Say, hey, I'm trying to do this. Can you help with that? Is there any kinds of ways that you might think about shifting this offer to meet the needs that I have, which are X, Y, and Z? And some tarot readers won't. Some tarot readers will work with you. I've worked with people on what it is that they're looking for, especially if there's financial concerns and they're thinking they'd like to work with me over a length of time. Then we think about what those payment options might be. And then find the best tarot reader for you. I've got another blog post out about that too, about there's different things you can look for to find out if you've got the best tarot reader for you. And one of those in particular, like right now, is sexuality important to you? Is language, like understanding the queer community versus the LGBTQ community versus the transgender community? Is using your pronouns important? What is it that's important to you about that reader that is going to make you feel comfortable sitting across from them and sharing some intimate details. Because if you don't share them, they may they may also come up in the reading, and then you're going to be having a pretty intimate conversation that you may want to be prepared for. So there's all the latest and greatest on online tarot and how it's serving quality to the queer community. I hope this is helpful. If it is, please subscribe. Please give me some likes on there. Let me know you like this. And leave me some comments below. Tell me what was important to you. Ask me questions if something was confusing. I'd love to hear from you about how tarot is serving the queer community and why online readings might be so popular. Thanks, everybody.